What are your thoughts on Blade's anti-heal mechanic? Now, anti-heal is interesting because based off of what I've read of the ability leaks, it looks like this anti-heal mechanic isn't like Ana's where you get hit by the grenade and it locks you out of healing for a certain amount of time or until it gets cleansed. This anti-heal mechanic is a healing reduction, so we don't know if it's like 50%, 40% or whatever, but it works very similar to another game that I'm familiar with in League of Legends. It's called Grievous Wounds. It's basically the same thing, right? It reduces the amount of healing coming onto a target by 40% for like 3 seconds, and it's based off of like physical damage or magical damage. Now in League, you can buy the item that has that effect on it, so it's available to everybody, and you can continuously reapply it as long as you're doing that type of damage to a certain character. Now, I don't know about Blades because Blades is off of a cooldown, and I don't know how long or short that cooldown is. I don't know if there's going to be a window where he can apply it and you don't have healing anymore, or you get reduced healing and then he has to wait like 5 seconds before his ability comes back up, or if you can just like constantly reapply it on the same character for like necessarily an infinite amount of time. My issue with anti-heal as a mechanic is that it most of the time band-aids a bigger fundamental issue in that Marvel Rivals just has a ton of healing in the game. If you look at some of the best supports of the game, Luna Snow, Loki, Cloak and Dagger, Invisible Woman, all of them have an exorbitant amount of healing, either in their base kits or their ultimates are so strong and it provides so much healing that it just feels like you're kind of waiting until the support ultimate is done before you can actually do something as a DPS or a tank player, right? A lot of games, and at least in higher elo and even the competitive side, they are determined by which support ult is lasting longer and which support ult is used to counter how many DPS ultimates or tank ultimates. So it is, I get it. I get why they've introduced the anti-heal mechanic, but if it's too strong and it feels mandatory, it essentially feels like you will always need a blade on your team. And if you don't have it, you are drastically reducing your team's chances of winning. If it's not strong enough, then it just becomes another mechanic that doesn't really curb the actual issue in Marvel Rivals, which is I wish what they would have done is just reduce the amount of ult charge you get from healing, or reduce the amount of base healing on all the characters so that we can have more fights where it's based off of like gun skill or ability aim and stuff like that, rather than it being kind of like an ult vomit fight every single time you contest card or you contest the point and stuff like that. It is interesting though, because like I said, it's a healing reduction. So they could like retroactively apply it to other heroes, right? You can get like Namor or Magneto or Hulk or something. Certain abilities could have this healing reduction or anti-heal mechanic to it. So that looks like a lever that they could play with. But I am hesitant on this mechanic because it's either going to be very overpowered and it's going to be mandatory, or it's not going to be strong enough and we're just going to go back to having that core fundamental issue of there's just too much damn healing in the game.